drift down the Rogue River with Jim Conway of the Outdoor Sportsman.
It's early morning here in southern Oregon. We are looking up the canyon from Graves Creek at the very famous Rogue River. We're lowering the last of our 4 boats down into the Rogue River. These drift boats are dropped down a special ramp here, some 250 feet down into the Rogue River.
I'm Taylor King.
Or Taylor King?
Yeah.
Aren't you the fellow with the caveman camper, too?
That is right, and this is Chuck Ashcole, who's my partner.
Oh, we'll get a shot of your campers down the... That's that thing you said on the pickups, isn't it, that people see? Let's see, in this boat we've got...
Dick Hill.
Dick, now you're one of the kids, aren't you? I see the name on the front of your boat. Where are you from, Dick?
I believe so.
Up on the Mackenzie River. Leroy Pruitt will be along with us. Bob will be in one of the lead boats, and he'll have our cameraman, Larry Barrett, with him. Is this a normal rapid in the river here, Bob? Or?
Well, yeah, pretty good rapid. It's what we consider the jumping off place on the trip.
And here comes Taylor in the in boat. We'll go, I think Leroy said we'd go till about noon today before we start to get into any good fishing water.
That's right.
Fine. Well, we've made that one all right. We'll continue on down the Rogue River here. Looking up the river here at Rainy Falls, this falls is about 4 miles below our point where we put our boats in. It's one of the few areas that you have to rope your boats around. It's impossible to get these drift boats down over the falls. Sock him with an oar, Dick. Maybe make him move a little. Oh, that's a nice big... Ah, look at that. There's about, what, 3 pounds, Leroy?
Yeah, fish will go 3.5, maybe 4 pounds.
Ah, that's a beauty. Buzz, that fish will go about 4 pounds. Put him in the boat, we'll have... Huh? Oh, heck, he probably feels like Ken, does he? We'll barbecue that one for lunch. Leroy and Bob are barbecuing some steelhead. They knocked a couple off right down here on this ripple. Dick Helford is just bringing his boat through on the first one. This is our first night's lodging, and this is Black... Yeah, what is this? Black Bar Lodge?
Black Bar Lodge, yes, sir.
How far are we below where we put in today?
Oh, well, where did you put in?
At the swinging bridge there.
Well, I'd say you're about 18 miles.
We've come 18 miles down the river today.
About 18 miles.
How'd you get him in that little barrel? You haven't got him in there yet. I'm afraid that those boys have an awful problem. The fish is just a little too big for the bag they've got there.
This has a little bit of trouble there. Well, he's got him in it.
There he is. It's a good sight to next time. Leroy tells me this is one of Zane Gray's boats. Now, you say he built these boats and put them in at Grants Pass?
Put them in at Grants Pass, yes, and probably sell them at Gold Beach or sometimes...
They drift down from Grants Pass and stay here and fish a month and then go on through?
Yes, that's right.
Sell the boat when they got down to where the river goes in the ocean?
Yeah. They left 2 of them here, and this is all that's left of the 2. And you can see there was 2 fellows would row. You can't hardly see where the oarlocks were, but 2 fellows would row these boats where we just row one.
Yeah. How long has this been here, Leroy?
Since 1931, I think Bobby said. Isn't that right?
There he is. Now that can go a couple pounds. Nice Rogue River steelhead. The second night of our trip on the Rogue River was spent here with Mariel Paddock. And Mariel, this town was named after you, wasn't it? This area right in here?
That's right. That's right.
Well, once again, we've gotten in the wilderness here, and rather than having to sleep out under the tree, you have the nicest accommodations, wonderful cooking, And you've been the third generation in this area?
Yes, that's in this spot. On this
For
spot,
goodness
I'd say.
sakes. I'd like to come down fishing when your grandfather was down here.
Well, it was really like taking them out of a barrel, you know.
Well, it's almost that good now. I've never enjoyed such fine steelhead fish.
Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad you're happy about it.
Well, Mariel, it's been wonderful. Many thanks for a fine evening and the wonderful hospitality. We'll get on down our boats now and start on down. The hustle and bustle of activity here this morning. We're getting loaded to go on and continue our drift down the very famous Rogue River here in southern Oregon. You'll notice the rapids which the boys are going to rope their boats down through, running up between these tremendous boulders. Leroy and Bobby have their boats pretty well down, and you notice Dick waiting there with Taylor waiting up at the head end of the rapids. These boys will put ropes on the boats, then by working down along the bank and lowering, sending the boat out into the current, they will hold it with these ropes and work it down through these very treacherous rocks and rapids here at the mouth of Mule Creek. Leroy has his boat down. He's pretty well through. This is Mr. and Mrs. Snyder and Mr. and Mrs. Rutledge standing right behind them, and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. We have three generations, or 4 generations now. I saw the youngest one up there working on a baby bod last night. Isn't that right? He's hooked a nice steelhead. That's about a 5-pounder, right in front of Snyder's Lodge here. We just got started down. Yeah, that'll go 4 or 5 pounds. A fire. Yeah, that's a buck too. He's got that long lower jaw. Taylor, don't drop him! I gotta get busy with the boat. There he comes. How big is that, Leroy? About a 3-pound. And that, oh, I got it. Wonderful, look at that baby. He got a sore head. You better turn that back. Well, look at that steelhead, holy smokes.
Yeah, you go 6 pounds on that.
There's a 6-pound summer steelhead from this Rogue River. We've been on the river now 4 days. We've caught steelhead every single day all along this entire 50 to 60 mile trip. Ah, oh, real nice fish. That's almost one. How big? Well, that didn't go 4.5, 5 pounds. He's got a dandy big one. Ah, there he is. How big? 6 pounds anyway. Isn't it? I wonder how many fish we've had on this morning. I've heard Bobby yipping, and I've heard everybody yipping. We must have hooked 25 or 30 of these steelhead, and it isn't even 10 o'clock yet.
Yeah.
Holy man. There's my big steelhead. I'm getting a ribbon. We've got fish that are 4 times the size laying all over the place. But for those of you who have ever heard that the Rogue River is ever short on steelhead, we'll sort of pan down through and get a picture here of the entire group that has been on this very wonderful 4-day trip that we've made with these people. I don't know how many steelhead we've had on. We've released more than we've taken. We took these in the last couple of days. We've probably, in the 4 days we've been out here, hooked 150 or 200 steelhead very easily. We've had a real good time. I don't know how it could be any better, and I don't know what I could even say that would show half of our appreciation for being invited down on the trip. But it has been simply wonderful. I'll get over here and talk to Taylor. Actually, it's through the cooperation and courtesy of Taylor Kane and Chuck Ashpole and Bob and Leroy Pruitt that we are making this trip and have been able to make this film possible. Taylor and Chuck are the manufacturers of these very fine caveman campers that you see parked behind us. And Bob and Leroy Pruitt are probably the finest guides I think that I've ever been with.